from a town where most of the people are so close-minded. They go into school and they work in a job, but they don't even like it. I won't be put in a box. Nobody telling me what I should rock. Nobody telling me what I should drop, cause I do what I want and just know I don't stop.
Hey guys, what's going on? This video is on post-secondary education and some of the issues that I have with it. First, I'll start out by, I think that the way the system is set up now is that students are forced to work in a condensed program 2 or 3 years, whether it's in college or university, and basically it's all about getting the students their degree or diploma as fast as they can and get them out into the workplace. Now this is based on getting as many people out in the economy as possible. And honestly, I think that this is an outdated practice. And to be honest, I think that not only is it outdated, the system is also designed in a way that limits people, putting so much of a workload on them and forcing them basically to, well, either overcome it or get out of the way. And that's basically what the mentality is for the workforce, and that is the same thing, is to get as much work done as possible, even for as little as possible. And if you can't do that, then you might as well quit. Now, I'm not saying that all jobs are like that, but I think the majority are, especially in general labor jobs. And just the whole worker and employer relationship, and that's always been to get the most out of the employee for as little as possible. Now, when you're going to school, obviously school is supposed to be a big part of your life, especially if you're going full-time. And it is basically your life. You eat, sleep, and drink school and nothing else. To the point where you don't really have a lot of free time, and even if you do have free time, it's basically in little increments here and there. And if you have to work or you have to do other activities, even if you're a parent, and you simply are so overwhelmed with stuff to do, it leads to mental health issues and physical ailments. And that's just because of all the stress that you're going through. The attitude that the college pushes, and that's usually through the faculty, is that, well, just suck it up and get through it. We went through it, so why can't you go through it? And to me, that's just a flawed argument. You know, that's just saying, well, you know, we dealt with it, so you have to deal with it now. And, you know, that's not really the case. And I think that the system itself needs to be overhauled. When you go to school, you want to enjoy yourself. You want to enjoy learning. And sometimes when you're going to school, I don't enjoy learning because I have so much work to do. You just don't have time to do anything else. And me personally, I had to deal with not only stress, but it caused me to have mental health issues. Now, if this was in a workplace where you have health and safety as guaranteed by law and hopefully protected by a union, you know, the post-secondary institutions would be violating your health and safety, especially if you're getting sick from the work that you're doing. So how do they get away with that? Well, the thing is that they give you a certain amount of work to do, and then if you can't handle it, they just say, well, you know, go talk to a counselor. And they pass it off as that it's basically your fault that you can't do an unrealistic workload. And on top of that, balancing other things like working and looking after other responsibilities in your life. They just blame it all on you. It's all your fault. But they never take responsibility for what they do and the system that they have and the policies that they have. It's all thrown on the shoulder of the students. And of course, when you're going in there, especially if you're 18 and you're just starting, you know, it can be a nervous experience. And how many 18-year-olds are going to start fighting against the system, especially if they think that it's not worth it? That, okay, I might as well just suck it up and do the work. Now, I'm not against hard work. I'm a hard worker myself, and I want to do a good job, and I want to do the work correctly, and I want depth to my work. But when I'm giving so much work to do that it's starting to cause me to have physical and mental health issues, then that's a problem. And it's something that's just laughed off by the faculty. And when I was going to college, I actually tried to create a student advocacy group that dealt with that sort of thing. And I tried to get the support of the faculty. This group would involve students being involved in their academic programming as well. Those that live in Ontario, Canada, there was a faculty strike that happened across the province, where not only were they asking for better wages, but also job security and having the faculty and students have more involvement in their academic programming. Something that I actually fought for when I was going to college, and unfortunately some of the students got involved to help me build this group, eventually abandoned the group and abandoned me, and maybe they were scared off or they just couldn't take on those challenges. I personally went to the faculty and I wasn't taken seriously. I was given the runaround and that sort of thing. And ultimately, even someone in the faculty told me that there was already a group that was created for that fact, but I looked for that group and it didn't exist. So the college tried to shut me down, and they didn't want me creating this group. They didn't want me to, bring those issues forward, because it is a radical move, and to have students to have involvement in their academic programming is something that is radical. I think that should even be in the workplace as well, even though there are some jobs that allow for that, but I think it should be universal. So there are students that drop out of school because they can't handle the work, and also there are students that have committed suicide because they're too overwhelmed with how much work they have to do. Now, it's so easy to spin it like, well, they're lazy and they don't want to do the work. So there was an article that I read that stated that 73% of students have some kind of mental health crisis while they're at school. And the article basically passed off students as whiny and overreacting and should just go seek counseling services. Well, that's really just an insult to anybody who goes to school, because that is just a lazy way of dealing with a situation, is saying, well, if you're having some mental health problems, just go talk to a counselor. That's why we have them on site. So you have mental health counselors on site just to deal with students that have mental health issues. From students that I've talked to, there's just too much going on between school and their other responsibilities. It's too much, and the workloads are too much, and they state this to me. And the other thing too is that some post-secondary institutions have an option to have special accommodations if you have a disability, physical disability or a mental health disability, and it reduces your workload basically to a reasonable amount if you claim that you have this disability. And honestly, going to school full-time will cause you to have a mental illness in order to be eligible to have this extra help in school. So maybe the system itself needs to be changed, and not just telling students that it's their fault and they need to stop overreacting. Because in my opinion, that is insulting the students and basically just saying, this is the way you're going to have to deal with it. And, I think it's, like I said, there's various reasons why it happens. I think that it's done intentionally in order to get students in and out as fast as possible. And it also is designed to have people think that they need to go above and beyond and not really take their health into consideration. and to get used to your workplace not caring about your health. Because I've been in jobs where they just want you to work and they don't really care about anything else because they just want to make money. And that's pretty much, in my opinion, the same with post-secondary institutions. Can you honestly tell me that there's not a single person out there that hasn't had a mental health issue because they've gone to school? Is there honestly anybody out there who's never had a mental health issue from going to school? And that's whether being overstressed or having bad anxiety or having a mental breakdown from being overloaded with too much, because they basically treat you like robots. It's a very anti-human thing. But this is systematic, and it's not only in post-secondary institutions, it's also in the workplace as well. Because the workplace has always been about making money, and yes, you're providing a service, but in the end, corporations just want to make a profit. So who is really at fault here? Is it normal human beings that want to enjoy their education, work hard, and try to balance a school and a normal life? Or is it the institutions that rush people through programs, giving them too much work to do, and when they feel a little bit stressed, they tell them, suck it up, go see a counselor? So yeah, I have a lot of issues with that. So those are my issues with post-secondary education. I think that students should have some kind of involvement in their academic programming, what they want to learn, and the appropriate amount of workload that they get. Not only that, but I also think faculty members should have a say in the content that they're giving to the students. And I'm sure a lot of faculty members do. They just, they do it behind the scenes. People need to stop being treated like they come second and their health comes second before money, and treating people a certain way. And I do think this ties into just the system in general in our society of how people are treated and how people really belong here and how people belong in the society. Because it just teaches people that your health will always come second to the top dollar. And that's been a big struggle between employees and companies for years. I think the problem is that student unions, which I have nothing against unions, but what are they really doing? What are they doing to fight this issue? I think one of the main problems is that students feel that they need to suck it up and they need to just deal with it in order to get through it. And I think that's something that's been brainwashed to students, that they have to feel this way. But why should you feel that way? Why should you feel stressed? Why should you feel like your anxiety? Why should you feel like you have bad anxiety and feel like you're having a mental breakdown because you have too much to do? Why? Shouldn't you be enjoying your education? So what are your experiences with the post-secondary education system? Do you have any stories that you'd like to tell about your experiences and any mental health situations you've had to deal with while you're in school? People that I've talked to, because there's been lots of people that I've talked to that bring up those issues, but they honestly don't know what to do about it. And they just suck it up and deal with it, even though that it causes them health problems. And honestly, if the health and safety laws applied to post-secondary education, there would probably be a lot of suing going on because of it. So what are your stories? Post in the comments below. You can email me at andrewkchannel@hotmail.com, and you can find me on Twitter and Facebook at andrewkchannel. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you keep it locked on the Andrew K channel.
I come from a town where most of the people are so close-minded. They go into school and they work in a job, but they don't even like it. I won't be put in a box. Nobody telling me what I should rock. Nobody telling me what I should drop, cause I do what I want and just know I don't stop.